think this is pretty interesting. A guy I like to follow on Twitter by the name of Michael, he sniffed this out. And I'm going to give him credit where credit is due, and I do find it extremely interesting. And we are talking about players that may have signed with Project B basketball.
The entire WNBA community was absolutely blown away when Project B's official account quietly started following a select group of players, immediately sending the internet into a frenzy. With this new league known for being super secretive, fans quickly noticed names like Kelsey Mitchell, Jonquel Jones, and Camila Cardoso popping up on their radar. Project B only follows a handful of people, so every single new addition sends a clear message, making everyone wonder if these follow patterns are just a total accident or if they're actually revealing the first wave of hidden signings. And let me tell you, if these names are confirmed, the WNBA could be in for a world of pain.
I went over here and they're only following 11 entities. They're only following 11 on their official Twitter feed. Kelsey Mitchell. I'm not following Kelsey, really? My girl Camila Cardoso. You can see I'm following her. Center. The Chicago Sky, right? Jewel B. Lloyd. Yeah, Jewel Lloyd. A hotshot basketball player.
So, how did this whole wild story even start? It began with a single observation on social media from this one super sharp fan, Michael, who's known for spotting things way before anyone else. Michael noticed that Project B's official account suddenly began following a new group of players. And get this, at first, it looked like nothing, but then the numbers started screaming something totally different.
In case you guys didn't know this, my third favorite player in the entire WNBA is Jonquel Jones. And they are also following Jonquel Jones. Very interesting because they're following Nike Ogumake, who is signed with their league, and Alyssa Thomas, who is signed with their league. We've heard they've already signed other players. We don't know who those other players are. Should be noted, unless I'm going crazy, Camila Cardoso, Jonquel Jones are not.
Okay, so Project B keeps their follow list tiny, right? Which means every single new follow carries a ton of weight. The minute Michael dropped this, fans rushed to check. And trust me, the pattern was undeniable. Kelsey Mitchell, Jonquel Jones, Camila Cardoso, these weren't random additions. We're talking about high-value WNBA stars with massive influence, both on and off the court. Curiosity spread like wildfire, with tons of fans immediately hitting Project B's page to see for themselves. And that's when the shock really set in. The account was only following 11 total entities. With so few names on that list, these three felt completely intentional, like a digital breadcrumb trail hinting at secret negotiations. Of course, nothing was public, no player mentioned a word, but you and I both know how this works, right? In today's world, social media often spills the beans on deals way before any official announcement. A follow from a big league? That usually means talks are already well underway behind the scenes. The second this detail blew up, fans started dissecting everything. Why asterisk these asterisk players? Why all at once? And why now when the WNBA is already feeling the heat from rival leagues and those growing contract disputes?
These particular players, not counting Alyssa Thomas, but some of these players, Jonquel Jones, Kelsey Mitchell, Camila, I've not seen any kind of activism surrounding those players or any.
The deeper everyone dug into that list, the clearer it became. Project B was sending a message without saying a single word. Even reporters started paying attention, noting that these particular players are famous for their elite talent, undeniable stats, and seriously high demand overseas. And hey, we all know what that means for the money, right?
Big. So, as you can imagine, we're going to keep our eyes open. But Kelsey Mitchell, Jonquel Jones are two huge names. Jewel Lloyd, big name. Camila Cardoso, big name, high-profile athlete out of South Carolina.
But here's the kicker. The absolute biggest question hanging over everyone was super simple. Was this just some crazy coincidence? Or was Project B subtly, secretly, revealing the very first wave of superstars getting ready to jump ship? The absolute silence from both the league and the players, that just made the whole mystery even louder. You know what? This is about to get really, really interesting.
I think this storyline, watching how this affects Unrivaled, again, I think Unrivaled is doomed. And then how it affects the WNBA is going to get really interesting.
So, as all this follow activity kept blowing up online, it became crystal clear. This was way more than just a social media trend. This was a massive signal, a tectonic shift that could completely reshape the future of women's basketball. Project B isn't messing around like some small startup. Every single move they make screams long-term strategy backed by serious financial power. Targeting elite players from different teams, different nations, and every stage of their career, that shows they want a balanced league primed for global attention the moment they drop. For us watching at home, this feels like the very beginning of an epic power struggle between the old guard and a bold new challenger in the WNBA's silence. That just made everything 10 times more dramatic. No official statements, no reassurance, nothing about the wild speculation online. That silence is making fans wonder if league execs already know about potential departures, just waiting for deals to become official. I mean, the WNBA has quietly dealt with overseas leagues for years, but this is the first time a competitor is trying to hit them directly during their domestic season. Project B's timing here, it screams that they're trying to exploit that vulnerability. Meanwhile, every media outlet and fan page is gearing up for what could easily become one of the biggest sports stories of the entire year. Everyone wants to know who's signed, who's close, and how many more names are on Project B's radar. This uncertainty has created a tense atmosphere. Every rumor racks up thousands of views, every hint of movement sparks a fresh debate, and with all this attention, the stakes are just getting higher. If Project B pulls in a lineup of recognized stars, it could permanently shift viewership, sponsorships, and even the global future of women's basketball. The craziest part, this all started with just a few social media follows, a few names, but suddenly, fans realized something huge was brewing behind the scenes. If Project B keeps making calculated moves like this, the next few months could change absolutely everything. The big question now is the WNBA truly ready for the level of competition heading their way? What started as a quiet social media move by Project B has now absolutely exploded into one of the most talked about moments in women's basketball. With Kelsey Mitchell, Jonquel Jones, and Camila Cardoso now squarely on their radar, fans can feel a major shift coming. Whether these moves are confirmed signings or just early negotiations, the impact is already undeniable. The WNBA, Unrivaled, and even international leagues are all bracing for massive change. Project B has clearly shown they're willing to challenge the entire system, and the next wave of announcements that could literally reshape the entire future of the sport. As fans dug deeper into this list of players Project B suddenly followed, the true significance of each name became impossible to ignore. First up, the major shocker, Kelsey Mitchell. She's been one of the WNBA's most explosive scorers for years, basically carrying Indiana through countless games where her ability to just create a shot kept them competitive. Her offensive skill set makes her a top target for any league looking to launch with credibility. A player like Kelsey joining Project B, that would instantly legitimize the new competition and signal that the WNBA might not be able to hold on to all its stars when way bigger money is on the table. Then came Jonquel Jones, and this is where the conversation shifted from curiosity to outright alarm. Jonquel isn't just another talented player, she's a former MVP, a championship-caliber leader, and one of the most respected figures in all of women's basketball. If she's on Project B's radar, it means this new league isn't just recruiting young stars, they're going after established elite veterans who can absolutely draw viewers, elevate the level of play, and bring instant legitimacy to a brand new league. Seeing her name on that list instantly made fans question how much progress Project B has already made behind closed doors. And then there was Camila Cardoso. Her inclusion was the biggest surprise, because she's new to the WNBA, but has quickly become one of the most hyped players thanks to her size, energy, and massive social media influence. For a league like Project B, attracting someone with her kind of momentum could help pull in an entire generation of fans who follow her from college right into professional play, plus her global appeal, especially in Brazil, adds another massive layer of interest for a league branding itself as international. The presence of these three names together felt far too strategic to be accidental, so fans immediately started asking if this was a carefully coordinated move by Project B, or if these players had already reached private agreements. Every new theory just added fuel to the speculation, and the silence surrounding the entire situation only made the story grow more intense. Once fans stepped back and looked at the pattern, it became crystal clear that Project B wasn't following players at random. There was a definite strategy behind every single name. The league has marketed itself as a global competitive alternative that plans to crown a world champion, rather than limiting itself to just one country. With that mission in mind, the players they chose to follow suddenly made perfect sense. Kelsey Mitchell represents elite American talent, a pure scorer who can fill arenas. Jonquel Jones brings international respect and championship pedigree. Camila Cardoso adds rising global star power, backed by a massive fan base from Brazil. Together, these three form a perfect balance of skill, marketability, and international reach. Project B is clearly trying to build something that feels bigger than a traditional basketball league. They want their brand to be global from day one. To achieve that, they need faces that resonate across different audiences. Kelsey gives them a powerful American anchor, Jonquel connects them to Caribbean fans and longtime WNBA supporters who appreciate proven talent, and Camila brings a young, international following that appeals to entirely new viewers. Each player fits into a larger blueprint, one that seems designed to position Project B as a worldwide product rather than just a regional experiment. But wait, there's another angle fans pointed out: these players belong to different stages of their careers. Kelsey's in her prime, Jonquel is a veteran with leadership and championship experience, and Camila is a rising star with a long future ahead of her. If Project B truly wants to launch with a roster that looks strong, diverse, and balanced, these three names are exactly the kind of foundation any serious league would target. Their presence on that follow list suggests that Project B isn't just trying to create competition, they're building a stable core that looks ready for long-term success. The idea that a brand new league is already identifying and pulling in a lineup like this is what has absolutely everyone talking, and fans are starting to wonder if these follow patterns are actually the early signs of deals that are already in motion. And if that's the case, the story is only just getting started. But get this, as speculation grew, another massive layer of the story pushed its way into the conversation. Project B isn't just any new league, it's backed by a Saudi-owned entertainment company, and that alone sparked immediate controversy. The moment the partnership became public, a wave of concern spread across social media. Some fans were excited about the massive payouts rumored to be offered, while others warned that the money came with some serious political baggage. Terms like sports washing began appearing in comment sections, echoing the same debates that surrounded Saudi investments in boxing, golf, and soccer. The reaction showed how divided fans were becoming, even before the league had officially launched. Players themselves have been way more careful about what they say publicly, but many have acknowledged that the money is genuinely life-changing. Project B is capable of offering contracts far beyond anything the WNBA provides, and for athletes who often spend their off-seasons overseas just to make ends meet, the idea of earning more in a single season than they usually do in 4 is almost impossible to ignore. But with that opportunity comes serious scrutiny. Fans are asking whether joining Project B would damage a player's reputation or draw criticism from those who oppose the league's financial source. This is exactly why all the follow activity raised so many eyebrows. If players as respected as Jonquel Jones or as promising as Camila Cardoso were actually in talks with Project B, it signals that the money was overpowering the controversy. Kelsey Mitchell's presence made it even clearer. These aren't fringe players, these are high-level athletes who carry immense influence, and if they're entertaining the idea of joining a Saudi-backed league, it means the financial incentives are far stronger than the potential backlash. The debate is only intensifying. Some argue that players should chase whatever opportunities secure their futures, while others insist that aligning with Project B sends the wrong message. And with each new player the league follows, fans grow more uneasy, wondering how many stars might already be preparing to leave the WNBA behind. The moment fans realized that multiple WNBA stars were possibly preparing to jump to Project B, attention immediately shifted to another league caught right in the crossfire. Unrivaled, the player-only league launched with huge promises and massive hype suddenly found itself in a dangerous position. From the very beginning, Unrivaled was marketed as a groundbreaking alternative that would finally give players more control and better compensation. But while the concept sounded strong on paper, its launch has been slow, its structure uncertain, and its financial backing far weaker than the powerhouse behind Project B. Now, with these follow patterns emerging, people are starting to question whether Unrivaled ever even stood a chance. Seeing names like Jonquel Jones, Camila Cardoso, and Kelsey Mitchell connected to Project B raised the biggest concern so far because these are exactly the type of players Unrivaled desperately needs to succeed. Without big names, the league risks launching without the momentum it promised fans, and the more people compared the two leagues, the clearer the problem became. Project B offers massive salaries, international marketing, a global audience, and long-term stability backed by billion-dollar investors. Unrivaled offers control and creative freedom, but without the financial pull to keep players from looking elsewhere. Many fans pointed out that Project B has already signed confirmed stars like Nneka Ogwumike and Elisha Clark. If they also manage to secure players such as Jonquel or Camila behind the scenes, Unrivaled may not only struggle, it may collapse before it even begins. A league without top-tier talent simply cannot compete for attention, viewership, or sponsorships. And with Project B moving quietly and strategically, it looks as if they are positioning themselves to dominate the entire landscape before Unrivaled can get off the ground. As a result, fans are starting to predict a future where Unrivaled becomes overshadowed almost instantly. What was supposed to be a player-led revolution now appears vulnerable, and the suspicion that Project B has already convinced key athletes to join them has added a serious sense of urgency. If these follow signals are accurate, Unrivaled may be facing the biggest problem it has encountered yet. As the conversation shifted away from Unrivaled, an even bigger concern rose to the surface. What does all of this mean for the WNBA itself? The league has been trying to build momentum with new stars, improved marketing, and rising fan interest, yet Project B's quiet movements threaten to undo years of progress in a matter of months. The WNBA has always struggled with financial limitations. Many players still earn modest salaries and are forced to play overseas during the off-season just to make a livable income. Now, with the league offering payouts far beyond anything the WNBA can match, the fear of a talent drain is becoming very, very real. It's also pointed out that the WNBA is already dealing with several internal challenges. Teams are stretched thin, travel issues remain a constant complaint, marketing for certain players feels inconsistent, and even star athletes sometimes express frustration over how the league handles promotion and support. In this climate, Project B is offering something the WNBA cannot: immediate financial stability and global outreach. That combination is powerful, especially for players who have spent years fighting for better opportunities. The idea of losing top-tier names like Jonquel Jones or rising stars like Camila Cardoso isn't just symbolic, it affects competitive balance, franchise marketing, ticket sales, and even television contracts. If several major players sign elsewhere, teams may struggle to fill seats or maintain fan enthusiasm. The WNBA has built much of its recent growth on the star power of individual players, so losing even a few of them to a rival league could create long-term issues that are incredibly hard to repair. But here's another layer: if Project B succeeds in attracting enough players, it could force the WNBA into uncomfortable decisions regarding salary increases, scheduling adjustments, or even business reforms. Pressure from a financially superior competitor can completely reshape an entire industry, and players are already wondering if the WNBA will respond publicly or stay silent until official signings are confirmed. And get this, as the speculation continued to build, one name inevitably pushed its way into the conversation, even though she wasn't part of the follow list: Caitlin Clark. Her impact on the WNBA has been immediate, powerful, and unlike anything the league has experienced in years, so whenever a major shift in women's basketball is discussed, her name always surfaces. Fans immediately started asking the same question across social media: if Project B is targeting stars from different tiers and age groups, could Caitlin Clark eventually become part of their long-term plans? The idea might sound bold, but the reasoning is simple. Project B is aiming for global reach, and Caitlin already brings it. Her collegiate popularity shattered records, her arrival in the WNBA generated viewership spikes, packed arenas, and unprecedented merchandise sales. She has essentially become the face of modern women's basketball, and any league looking to dominate the market knows that securing a player with that level of influence would be the ultimate victory. Even the conversation around her hypothetical involvement shows just how powerful her brand has become. Fans also noted something else. Project B has already shown a willingness to make aggressive moves. They signed Nneka Ogwumike, they signed Alicia Clark. They are following rising stars and former MVPs. A league with that kind of financial backing is fully capable of offering contracts that completely break traditional limits, and when a league can afford to make massive offers, even players who are deeply loyal to their teams begin to feel the pressure. Caitlin is still early in her WNBA career, but nothing prevents Project B from planning years ahead. The discussion doesn't stop there.
Some fans believe Project B could attempt to build marketing campaigns directly around her, but here's the kicker. Her involvement would instantly shift the power balance away from the WNBA. Even the idea that she could be approached has created tension among fans who fear losing the league's brightest star. Now, no one is suggesting she's leaving, and no one is claiming negotiations have happened, but the very possibility highlights how disruptive Project B has already become. And if these follow patterns are indicators of early signings, then Caitlin Clark might not be the only superstar they eventually target.